Ah, yes, when I see a portal. Reminds me of a portal. The portal here seems to be made of portal. Very astute of you to notice, Joe. The can in front of me seems to be made of can. That's a wonderful observation. I'm glad that you're here with us.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies podcast. I am Joe, that's Ian, and we have a special guest, Bubbers the cat. You can see him in this video.
Yeah,
and
he's here. He's decided to come down and join me just before we started recording this. So, yes, as you all know, this is Mr. Chubbs formerly, but he's known as Bubbers to his friends. Here's a hint. Everybody's his friend. He's very cuddly, and so he's decided to join me for today's episode.
And he's going to help us decipher this. Found it online, figured it'd be something fun to beat into the ground. A portal opens to another world, randomly. You don't know when it's going to close, and you don't know if you can get back to Earth once you go through it. What do you do? So I figured this is a good one for Ian and I to beat into the ground and ask 1,000 questions that no one has
will
asked.
have the answer to. No one will have answers to. And this hypothetical portal, we haven't even crossed into it. This is just a what are you going to do type of situation. And I'd like to point out that this is another one of those topics that we just picked right out of thin air because every now and again you just got to get thrown a curveball and run with it. Really helps our improv skills. You know what I'm saying?
The last one was our longest episode ever, and we got to learn more about each other, realizing how little we know about each other in the long scheme of things. So this one's gonna bring us closer together again.
Bring us back home. Stop messing with the cable. I appreciate that you are a wonderful sound engineer. I promise I put all the work into it beforehand to make sure everything was good. Okay? Okay.
So
he's being a supervisor.
So you see a portal. What are you doing? Is basically the question.
First of all, okay, we need to establish, right, some ground rules here, right? I realize the prompt did not give us a whole lot of information right from the get-go, but we have to ask ourselves, okay, what color is this portal? Because that's part of the thing that determines whether you go through it, you know? Like, is this like a Rick and Morty? There's like a green swirl and it kind of looks like throw up on a wall. Is it like purple in color? Is it red?
Like
is it
portal
blue?
game portal?
Yeah, can I see through into the other side, you know, like can I visualize through and like see is there hellfire waiting for me on the other side, or is this I'm just going into it blind? Well, no, wait, it does say that you don't know what's on the other side of it.
So okay. Before let's just say a white portal for this. Just we can change the color, whatever. If you see, without any further thought, we can go into further thought in a little bit. You see a white portal, are you going through it?
If I see a white portal, just okay, well now this is where more questions come into play, Joe. What am I doing when this portal appears? Am I just sitting down in my basement? Am I at work? Am I driving my car? Do I like take a hard right off the freeway, you know, hit a big rock, launch off the exit ramp and right through the portal into another world? Like what if it leads to like an alien planet, you know what I mean? Like there's just these aliens having like this nice downtown da 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 da, and then here comes me in my Honda playing Dragula by Rob Zombie. Just oh my god, this is insane. Let's go. Like, you know, like we need some context here to this. You know what I'm talking about?
So I was hoping that we'd have no context and just be like, yeah, I'd enter a random portal, but I don't think that's going to happen. That's why I tried to go with just like a non-color color.
I would enter a random portal that way, just flying through in my car, dig through the ditches and burn through the witches, and you know everybody on the other side is and just like screaming top of their lungs as I go flying through. You know, maybe it's like a situation where you've got like the one portal enters and then another portal exits. So for just like a solid 5 seconds, I caused absolute mayhem. Oh, our supervisor. Our supervisor has heard the call of treats He is
he has a
now.
meeting to attend.
He does. He has a very
He may
important
be
meeting
back.
to attend. Thank you for your presence today, Mr. Chubbs. We greatly appreciate your guest appearance on here. Hope to see you again soon. So say bye to Mr. Chubbs, everybody. He's got very important cat things to attend to.
Okay,
Probably throwing his litter all over the bathroom.
okay, since you want context, I will paint a picture.
Okay.
Because I thought of the white portal, and that just makes me think of Dark Souls with like the fog. So if it's that, I feel like I'm gonna have a boss fight. If it's purple, I was thinking it's probably Minecraft, and you're gonna go to the
I would go
Nether
for that. I'd go.
until you see a ghast.
Now, Nether. Okay.
Hold
You
on.
said
We'll go back to the we'll come back to the Nether. I'm going broad, so we can talk about that first.
broad strokes.
When I
Broad
think
strokes.
blue or
Gotcha.
orange, I think Portal, and all of these are video games. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, and then the green is Rick and Morty. So let's just go. Let's go with. Are there any portals that are yellow? Are
Um.
you,
The Doctor Strange. That's kind of like a orange, sparky yellow.
how?
You know what
Let's
I'm
go with
saying?
red. I don't
We
think
go with
of
red.
portals that are red.
You know,
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm sorry. When you said the whole like, oh, when I see blue or orange, I think of Portal. Like, and then you clarified. You're like, oh yeah, it's a video game, and I just imagine anybody out there who's not aware of Portal, the video game, going, ah, yes, when I see a portal, reminds me of a portal. The portal here seems to be made of portal. Indeed, that's very astute of you to notice, Joe. The can in front of me seems to be made of can. That's a wonderful observation. I'm glad that you're here with us.
Okay, fine. Blue and orange is Portal 2. There. Is that good enough of a difference?
Ah, yes. Portal 1, blue, and Portal 2, orange. Portal looks like Portal. I'm really glad we clarified that. Thanks,
Okay.
Joe.
Thank you for that, Ian. Okay, we're going to be in this scenario so we can continue this conversation. We're walking through a park, and then we just notice, corner of our eye, there's a red portal.
Ooh, a
We
red
don't know
portal,
where
you
it's
say.
going to go, and we don't know how long it's going to last. Do we check it out? And I will say this. You cannot like peek your head in and then like take it out. You have to commit fully.
Oh, well, now what is the fun in that? You know what I'm saying? Like you could like hold on to my arm and I'll like lean into it, you know what I mean? And just like I'll tell you what I see on the other side.
I thought that would be cheating. That's why I had to say that.
You had to. Okay. Well, I tell you my thought process, right? Whatever has created this portal can recreate a portal because portals are not something that just typically into existence, right? Like there's usually something that brought it into existence. Therefore, I am willing to find out because here's the thing. You could either have the adventure of a lifetime. That's it. You could have the adventure of a lifetime, or you could just be like, "Wow, I saw a red portal in the park today," and you didn't look inside of it. Like that'd be like seeing like a Maserati that says "free" on the side of it, and you're like, "Well, yeah, I saw a free Maserati downtown today, and you didn't take it. Like what?" I would take that deal. That sounds like a good deal. You take that deal, I'd take that deal. That's a good deal. I'd take that deal. I'd step through the red portal. Where does the okay? So would you, Joe? I would step through the portal. Would you follow me?
You know, there's a part of me that says like, yeah, fully. Like I want to go explore.
I'm there
There,
every time.
but there's a bigger part of me, way bigger part of me, that says, hey, the location is completely random. I could just be in space with no equipment or like land on an alien planet and there be no oxygen and I suffocate. It could put me in the bottom of the ocean. That's my
Very,
thought process.
very true. However, All right, is this a one-way portal? Because if this portal went to the bottom of the ocean, then theoretically, like you'd see it appear, hey Joe, there's a portal, and then immediately just a tidal wave of like 400 gallons a minute, high pressure hose of water would come flying through that thing. Bottom of the ocean, dude. The pressure down there is so.
Dude,
Can you imagine that one? Just, vroom. Oh, hey, Joe. And then a tidal wave of water just comes flying through,
s-
confused man of war and sharks and all manner of whatever comes spouting out of there.
I have a rebuttal. It's a portal, not a door. I don't think you're just gonna open it up and just a shark is gonna be right there.
What is a door if not a portal to another room? Huh? Huh? Now we're getting into the big brain. Now we're getting into the tough thinking questions, right? Because if you can go through the portal one way, you can't go through the other way. So then how would the portal only exist on one side? You know what I'm saying? Like a one-way mirror type of situation, nonsense thing going on? I don't know. Could be. Maybe, but I doubt it.
I have,
Portals are usually
I have another rebuttal.
uh-oh.
When I close my door and reopen it, it's still going to be the same room. I have not had it change what's on the other side.
Right. Right. That is
I,
true.
I know what
But
you're
a
getting
door
at.
But if you leave a door open, right, you can step through the door and then, and this is the crazy part, you can step back through the door and just spit right towards the camera. I almost watch that. I almost hit the lens perfect. That would have been real awkward to explain why I suddenly turned fuzzy for everyone else's screen. So
Thank,
I'm glad that didn't happen.
thank you for explaining. You can go outdoors, but
Some
it's a
people out there,
portal. It's not a door.
it's a door to another dimension. It's a door to another. We don't know what that dimension is, but it is a door to another dimension.
The other thing
Now,
I have one more
go ahead.
thought before.
Go ahead.
Another reason why I don't think I would, I could go through that portal and just end up right here. Just send me straight back home.
Well, then that's the best kind of portal. I'm going through that portal every single day of the week and twice on Sundays. What do you mean? Oh, Mr. Chubbs has finished his meeting. He is currently, well, you can't
Oh,
see because of the back.
he
He's
showed up
he's
a little bit.
hiding. Oh,
There he
there he is. He's
is.
phasing in and out of reality. He's actually went to go find this portal, and he's coming back to report his findings. What have you found for us, Mr. Chubbs? Have you found anything worth discussing?
Treats.
He hasn't. And if he has, he's not sharing. He's seen horrors beyond his comprehension that his small mind is not able to put into proportion to share with us.
You went through and just saw a giant vacuum.
He, he went through and he saw the world's biggest cat treat, and he couldn't comprehend. It was like Scrat from Ice Age when he gets to heaven and he sees the giant acorn and he's like just about to touch it, and then he starts getting pulled back through the gates. That's what happened.
That's sad.
Now,
I hate that
Ch-
part of the movie.
Mr.
Granted,
Chubbs is
like,
now. You hate the part of the movie where Scrat comes back to life?
hold on. Let me finish. You didn't let me finish. Like, he was so happy he finally was able to get the acorn. And then, yes, he got brought back to life, but did you see how pissed he was?
I mean, yeah.
I know that's a
But
weird take for a Portal video, but
on today's episode of Discussing Portals, we talk about how Ice Age has had an impact on the socioeconomic factors in the United States and the portal industry. And
I've said this once, I'll say it again. I love this podcast for this sole reason. That's why it's the BS Buddies podcast. We'll go off topic and we'll bring it right back. We're going to go through the portal of going back on topic.
Okay. Well, so we'll digress. We'll bring her back center of the lane where we need to go. Okay. So, realistically speaking, right? There are any number of things that could be on the other side of the portal. Any number of things. But as I discussed prior, portals typically don't into existence unless it's space. In which case, I applaud you. You're in space. You don't need to go through a portal. It's already cool enough. So, therefore, something had to create that portal. At least by my logic, something had to manufacture it or physics it into existence somehow. Therefore, I think the reward of seeing what could be on the other side of that portal outweighs the risk of what potentially might be on the other side of that portal, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Are those words comprehensible to you and everyone else out there?
Yes. I feel
Good.
if it was the both of us, just us two walking down and saw a portal, I feel like I'd do it. I'm much more likely to do it with someone else. I also think we find a random stranger and say, "Hey, record us. We're gonna go through the portal." If we make it back, we'll post it to YouTube for another
You
BS Buddies episode.
you ain't from Minnesota if you never done this before. And you just get sucked into the infinite void.
I also feel like I'd be, on the other hand, I feel like I'd be very nervous and you'd be super excited, and then we'd do a coin flip, and whoever wins the coin flip, that's what we do.
Ooh, what if we Looney Tunes it, right? What if we just tie a rope around whoever has to go in and then go from there, right? That way, you still got it's like the Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trail. You still got a way back. Granted, there's no guarantee you can go back through the portal, but I would much rather have a way back in case there is than, just kind of plop out somewhere and be like, well, I don't know where I am.
I feel
You're gonna
like
need a really long rope though.
here's what I see with that. If we did that, I would tie it around my waist, tie it around your waist. You go in, and then like someone behind me is like, "Oh, like what are you doing with the rope around your waist?" And I turn to talk to him. I explain. I turn around. I'm like, "Oh, it's really light all of a sudden," and like the portal snapped the rope in half, and it's like, son
Oh yeah, well
of
we
a.
found this random portal in the middle of the park. Strangely, our minds have not melted into goo by seeing this absolutely strange and supernatural phenomenon that definitely has never occurred anywhere on the planet. So we decided to send my buddy in, and yeah, all we did for safety precaution was this little 3-ply rope. Which now that I'm thinking about it, I'm holding the severed end of this rope in my hand. I go that way, and you go that way, and we'll never speak to each other again.
And then walk away. It's like, who am I gonna get to replace Ian? Because we got episodes due soon.
And then you go home and it's like me, like Captain America sitting on your couch, like 80 years old. There you are. Do I have a story for you? But first, where did I put my teeth? Just like, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be the worst podcast episode you've ever had. I'll be in like the middle of a sentence. So after I went through the portal, I found a giant bird. What kind of bird was it? Maybe it was a falcon. That's not the important thing. How are you 80 years old? Come back to me. Well, hold on. It was important to the story somehow. I think I remember why. And then, like, just when you think all is lost, you'll be like, well, I'll wrap this up. We'll get to it on another. It was an eagle. Then just like,
I fall asleep in the chair just recording for 5 hours, and then And then I wake up, you finish the story, and then I go back. And right after I fall asleep, you fell asleep for like the whole time as well. So it's 5 hours of footage with like 2 minutes of
of,
content.
of just an old man and a young man. At one point, I like, I'm doing that, like, and my teeth just fall out, and like, oh man, and then my microphone falls over, and and or even better yet, I part and parcel the story like one word at a time, like one word a minute, so you have to jump cut like 5 hours of footage into a manageable story.
You know what I could see you doing?
Hmm.
Let's say you went through the portal and you came
Right.
back and you were like the same age. And like you told me like not a lot happened, but you kept telling me for fun just so it was more interesting that you aged either up or down like by a couple of years and I believed you the rest of our lives. And then
When we're
once
old.
once we're old, you're like, "Yeah, you know when I told you 60 years ago I aged? I
I was
lied."
I was bullshitting you, man, the whole time. This is a straight farce. And then you start like beating me with your cane or something like that. I called it in that video we did. Just absolutely off
We
our
we
rockers.
clickbaited and I didn't mean to.
The nursing home staff are like, "Oh, they're going at it again. Nurse, can you bring the sedatives?" Just like,
Oh,
uh, okay. So I've got a good serious question for this then. If if all the nonsense aside, and trust me, there's been a lot of nonsense so far. All the nonsense aside, if you could go through the portal and you knew that you had a way back and the portal was safe, right? This kind of in the vein of the topic, but we're inventing our own hypotheticals now. If you could go through and you knew that there was a safe return, what would you hope to find? What would be the thing that you would most want to see on the other side of the portal?
um, that's a great question. Um, for me, honestly, if it just brought me to another part of the world where I had, like, let's say there's a way back, but you have to find it. It's not just right there and you can go back whenever. So it's like a story quest. So
Ah.
you kind of get dropped off and then like you have to like whatever area you're
Oh,
in, they got to help like they can give you
yeah.
hints. Like it's just like a basic storybook. Like you need to have people help you. And I think just
You literally become the main character in a story.
yes, that's what I'm getting at. So like for me, it'd be worth it just to meet like the cool people on my own personal story and get to know them. And like if I knew that I was going to get back safe, just like I'd probably like if I found it the way back right away, I would just chill with the people for a while and then I don't know, depending
Maybe.
on the technology, just like link up on Snapchat or something.
Yeah, so it would literally for you it'd be like a real life what do they call it? Um when people play those games where they go on like Google Maps or MapQuest and they just hit like randomize and it drops them in a random part of the world and they have to figure out
I know
where
what
they
you mean.
are based on context clues, right? It's like
Basically, that would I would want that. That's what
it's
I would
basically
want.
a real life version of that. Now, here's the other thing. I sure hope everybody on the other side of that portal for you speaks English, because that's going to be a really, really weird conversation. If you step through a portal, you look over and you see some guy, and you're like, hey, where am I? And he's like, "Don't make two say blah, 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 blah," and you're like, oh, this is not going to end well for me. Which that was not a real language for anyone who might have been wondering.
It started out as French, but turned out to be mush.
That's just French. That's just French in general. Started out sounding real and then it turned to mush. They throw in extra vowels where they don't need them.
That's how I feel talking to some people at work, like the Spanish culture. Like I can have basic conversation in Spanish, but as
Pick
soon
out a
as
few
I'm
words.
like as soon as they're in a group, it just
It falls
rattles
away.
off, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
It's so
But I
well.
feel
I
like
mean,
I could do it.
yeah. Spanish is a very rapid fire language. That language is very hard to keep up with, especially when you get like, a native speaker who just like 100 miles an hour. You're like, I recognized some of those words. Ah, okay.
And
But
you could also draw what you're trying to say as well. Just go back to very basic. Like, it's going to be hard for them to understand. You just draw a freaking oval. It's like,
it's a really world game, really weird game of Pictionary.
yes.
Just trying to draw how it's me step through portal, land here, and then it's like that scene from Madagascar. What is he talking about? Great, you all speak English. Wonderful. Ah, I'm trying to think what I would most want to see stepping through a portal like that. I think for me, it would be really cool if it was like an alien civilization, right? And they were like trying to invent portal technology, right? Like they're light years ahead of us in advance. And light years is a unit measurement of distance. So I don't know. They're years ahead of us in technological development, right? And they're finally trying to create a portal, and they're like, all right, let's test it out, and they just boop, they open it up right there, and then I pop through the other side like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh my god, it worked. And like, imagine if you, and granted, I hope it would go peaceful. God, for fingers crossed, for the sake of everything, I hope it will go peaceful. But like, can you imagine how cool that would be to be the bridge between two separate worlds? Like, you would be the living proof that intelligent life exists elsewhere in the universe. And I think that would be pretty wicked to be the first guy in contact with an alien species.
Here's a kicker. They're like, oh, sweet, it worked. We can send you back. Send you back immediately. I know, like, if it's not like you have to go find it, they just send you back immediately. Never touch Earth again. And you explain that. Hey,
You get a little
you'd be a star on Ancient Aliens, but
I would either be a star on Ancient Aliens or the History Channel, or I would get locked in a padded room for the rest of my life with a giant jacket, and I wouldn't even be allowed to feed myself pudding from a cup.
I mean, that's kind of what entering the portal is all about. You don't know what's going to be on the other side.
like, I'm just trying to wrap. Like, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, right? Like, I can roll with the punches for a lot of things, but I think that would probably be the most devastating of like walk through. Like, hey, what? Oh my god, aliens, technology. Oh my god, this is insane! Boop, and then I just pop up back in the woods. No, 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 no! I was this close. Like, just like losing my mind. There's like some guys, government agents in a van nearby. All right, he went through. Grab him now. Trying to pull me away, and like that's it. For the rest of my life, I'm sitting in a padded room going, "Yeah, the alien, the red portal." Like,
I come visit you. It's like, Ian, you okay? And it's like, aliens.
alien, just rocking back and forth in fetal position, like, yeah, he's lost. Oh well.
It's like, then months passed and like, or years, and it's like, hey guys, like do a vlog. Hey guys, if you're wondering what happened to the podcast, just pan the camera to you in the padded room, and it's like, yeah, that's
Well,
why.
if it's been years, they can say that now I'm docile enough to be released. So then you pan over and it's like I look like Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber 2 when, what's his name? Jeff Daniels goes to visit him and he's wearing the tutu, sitting in the wheelchair, just it's just me just sitting there silently, just a little bit of drool comes down from the mouth, and you're like, "Oh, let's get that for you, buddy," and just like wipe it up for me.
This is getting weird.
So yeah, I'd
Yeah.
go through the portal. Yep, I would risk insanity for
Thir-
you. I would risk insanity for you, the viewer, and I hope you respect that. Because all
30
right, that takes
minutes
a lot of heart.
later, we decide, yep.
Portal, going through it.
And that's why I went through the portal.
Oh man, these are my favorite kind of episodes. These are the fun ones. These are the ones where you just get goofy with it. This is what the BS Buddies podcast is all about. Because what was all of that 30 minutes if not total BS?
Uh, but it's that time of the episode where we do quotes. And mine is actually perfect. I picked it out beforehand and it sums this up perfectly. It's by Jimi Hendrix. And the quote is, "I'm the one that's got to die when it's time for me to die, so let me live my life the way I want to." I wanted to go through that damn portal and because it is my life.
Going through it, and I'm going through it. And you know, I was gonna choose a funny quote from my phone, but since we were talking about portals and since you mentioned the game Portal, I think I'm going to go with a quote from one of the Portal games, is which I don't know it word for word. All right, so internet denizens out there, don't crucify me for this one. But I believe it goes something along the lines of, "Be a very small chance you have a slight case of major brain damage." I think that one perfectly sums up the portal in its entirety. Just me sitting in a chair. What happened, Joe? Well, maybe a small chance you have a slight case of major brain damage.
And just remember, the cake is a lie.
Cake is a lie.
Thank you for BSing with us. We really BS'd in this episode. If you
It was a
want
good
to,
one.
if you want to become a bud, hit subscribe, hit follow, hit the like button, comment down below if there's any other hypotheticals that you want us to beat into the ground.
Give us some more stupid topics to disappear into and wear straitjackets for. I don't know.
Yes.
I can't try anymore at this point.
But thank you guys for listening and hope to see you next time.
When we come out from the other side of the portal. But in the meantime, just take her easy now.